welcome into Knit Habits. As you can tell, I am in a different location than I normally am. I am hanging out here in my backyard, and it's such a beautiful spring day here in lovely Raleigh, North Carolina, that I definitely wanted to share it with you. I'm hoping that the people mowing the lawn on the other side of the street, it's not going to be too loud, but as you can tell, it's beautiful here. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's about 82 degrees out here right now. You may have the dogs barking from time to time, and you might hear some cars driving by. There's a street right behind me, but I'm hoping everything will work out. I'm trying to talk loud enough so everybody can hear me. But if you're new here, great welcome to you. I'm so glad to have you. If you're returning, thank you for coming back to visit my channel again. I greatly appreciate it. And all of the links of where you can find me will be over here. I'll have the picture up of Ravelry, Instagram, Gmail, all of that stuff. And also want to say, don't forget about the mail that we have going on for this channel that I'm doing along with Tania of the Breakfast Crew. That is the One Skein Wonder Mal, and I will have a link also to the Ravelry group below, so you can go on there if you'd like to enter. There's a chatter thread and an FO thread and you can do anything that takes one skein of yarn, whether that's knitting, crochet, mitts, hats, scarves, whatever, socks, whatever you'd like to do. We'd love to have you over there. And that's going on it started April 1st, and it's going on until the end of September. So if you'd like to participate, and I did talk about some of the prizes that are going to be part of that on the last episode as well. So if you'd like to check that out, you can check that out there. And there's a giant bumblebee that just decided to show up. That's fun. Anyway, so I think that's everything. Normally there's some, there'll be a little bit of therapy talk at the end. I'm kind of doing this on the spur of the moment. I just decided I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this out back, and yeah, it's just too beautiful to not be out here today. So went and got my nails done. This is kind of fun. So they're half black and half white. So that's fun. Anyway, I'm so happy to be here with you today. I have a couple finished objects, some things that I'm still working on, and I got some acquisitions. So I have some things to talk about and some plans. So let's get into it. Finished objects. I have finished the Florels for Spring that I was test knitting for Jen of... I had it in my head, Sweater Freak. Love testing for her. So if you remember, I did this out of 2 colors of Holst yarn. The pinker color here for the flowers, this one here is Sweet Pea. And then the darker purple color is one that was called Slow, or SLOE. And it's just a little kind of bandana scarf, really fun. If you're new to mosaic and you want to try it out, this would be a really great, fun pattern to do. Really simple to knit up. Her directions are very good. They are both they're both written and charted, so you can do either one. So I really like this, and it's just a little bandana size, so you can just wear it like that. You could even I have kind of a big neck, so trying to find the other end of it. You could tie it, you could put it underneath a jacket, you know, whatever, but really fun little knit. And it really stands out. When it's supposed to come out, I think next week, I want to say it's going to come out soon. So look for it when she releases it. And you can see the other projects. She did hers where the flowers were in a black or a navy blue yarn, and then where mine is purple, she has hers white, or like I think it's like a taupey color. And then a lot of the other testers did really beautiful projects. So it's really fun. It just kind of hangs out there. Holzgarn, the super soft, is, of course, there's a plane going over now. Holzgarn is a little bit itchy, and with it being 82 degrees out here today, it is a little bit on the itchy side. But I think when it's cold and just dropping it on real fast will be really nice. So really pretty knit, and yeah, I really like this. So that's finished object number 1. And finished object number 2, did I bring the ball band out here? I did not, but I will put the text on. These are socks that I did for my niece. These are just vanilla self-striping socks from String Theory. I talked about them last time. And these are 64 stitches. I did 2x2 ribbing for 15 rows up here at the top. And then I did about 65, maybe 70 rows for the leg before I started the shadow wrap heel. And then I did 60 rows before I started the toe. And I did the umbrella toe by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. So they are really close cousins. They're not exactly matching. There's a little bit more purple here on the toe, so I think I'm a few rows off, but she won't care at all. So, but gosh, you know, if you've never bought String Theory yarn before, they do some really beautiful colors, colorways, and their quality of their yarn is really beautiful. So I definitely recommend that. And these are 64 stitches. So that's number 2. So that's it for finished objects. I didn't finish anything else. I will jump into crochet real fast. I'm still working on my cardigan. Last time I did not have the pieces put together. So I have gone ahead and sewn up the back and the sleeves. I have added on to both of the sleeves. And I am currently adding on to the bottom here. And I have not very much yarn left. Just so you know, I had that and 5 skeins of yarn you're going to see here in a few minutes in this bag that I got. I showed this last time. And this was I got this at the North Carolina Fiber Fest, and this is from, what is the name of it? Something Kraken. I'll have it linked below, and I will definitely put the name up because I can't remember it, but I know the last word is Kraken. But anyway, this is the fairy bag, and I have 5 skeins of yarn, plus I have this entire cardigan in there. And if you remember correctly, this is made out of the Chroma by Knit Picks in the worsted weight. Hey! Hey! No. Okay. This is made out of the Chroma from Knit Picks in the color Sedona. And this is all I have left. So I'm glad I did not do the really long sleeves with the cuff on them. If you want to see that, Tania is making the same sweater and she did that with the cuff. So if you want to see what that looks like, you can definitely look there. But I don't have very much left. So I didn't want to do the like button band part of it in this, because then I wouldn't have enough to do the bottom to make it longer. So I decided to use this to add length, and then I have a dark purple Malabrigo that I'm going to use, I think, to do the part around the like button band around it. So I will, and I haven't put any of my ends in yet either, but here we go. So I will try this on real fast. I really like the the sleeves not being super long. I think it'll be fine for me. And sorry, I'm like covered in the yarn right now. And so I'm just adding a little bit of length here. And I think, you know, I'm going to go until I don't have, you know, any more to go, but it's a, you know, it's a pretty good length. And then I will do the button band part, the ribbing, I guess. I don't know how to do that in crochet yet. As you know, I'm a very new crocheter, so I'll be learning that from a video, but I will add that on in just a dark purple. I think that'll be really nice with this. And this yarn, I don't know if they still have this on there, but it is really soft. And I know it's wool. I think it's like 70% wool and then part, I think, acrylic. So I'm just really, really loving the way that this is looking. And I love the look of a granny square. So it looks really nice in the back. And I'm just really, really pleased with it. For a first crochet project as a garment, I'm pretty thrilled. So yeah, so there's that. Other things that I have been working on, the other thing, hold on, I'm twisted in the yarn again here. Here we go. The other thing that I've been working on is the Low Key by Elizabeth, I want to say Elizabeth Kennedy. Let's look. Sorry about this. I don't remember. And this is living in a Mrs. Brown, a bag by Mrs. Brown's bag from the Grocery Girls. So that's that bag. And let's look at that because I can't remember who it's by. Low Key by Elizabeth Smith. And I'll have a picture up of the finished object so you can see what that looks like. And I am doing this in the Highland Worsted, or the Highland DK, I believe, from High Desert from Knit Picks again. And here is where I was the last time I showed it. And then I have done all of this. And it does have that high-low hem on the bottom. So as I said before, you start, you do the, I can't remember if you do the front or back first, but you start doing this garter stitch here at the bottom. And then you work a certain length, depending on the size you're making. And then you put that on hold, and then you start the front or back, whichever the other one, and then you do that until a certain, and then you do essentially like a 3-needle bind off. She has a really great video tutorial on how to do that, and then you join them and you continue working. Now, as you can see, I have this glaring mistake of the 2 purl rows on there, but oh well, I wasn't going to take it out when I noticed it. But this yarn is really, really pretty and bouncy. Really thrilled with it. Super soft. And I have been doing a Russian join to join the balls of yarn so that I'm not having to necessarily weave in any ends. And I will put the video below of the tutorial that I use for the Russian join. And I've just been putting these stitch markers that I got from String Theory, and they'd be available on their website as well. And I will say I have a link down below that for String Theory, so if you'd like to check them out, these are some of their I showed these last time that I bought a little box of them. So I've just been doing that, so I know those, I think it's like 8 stitches for the purl bump there. And I think I'm getting really close to where she talks. I'm doing the tunic length, and I think she talks about not too long to split for sleeves on this. So, but I'm really enjoying this. And it is super soft and squishy yarn. I believe it's called High Desert. Like I said, I'll have it below. And this is from Knit Picks. And there's the colorway. All right, moving right along. So the only other thing that I've started, since I have not rolled or spun the wheel to do a another project from my cart, so I do need to do that soon. I just have not done that recently. I recently changed my hours at work, and so I'm now working 7 to 3:30. So I just started that on Monday of this week, and I had a doctor's appointment, just like a regular checkup thing, nothing special. So it was just a little bit busy. So I haven't done that to do another project, but that will probably be part of the next episode for sure. Okay, so the other thing that I started, you may or may not remember, I have new people, and I did have that hiatus of quite a while of not recording. So a while back, my son had gotten me, I don't know if it was for a birthday or Mother's Day, I'm not sure, but he had gotten me this yarn, this Bernat, and this is a discontinued yarn, but he had gotten me this, he's got me 4 of these things of this yarn. And I don't know what the color is. Fired Clay is the color. And it is 100% polyester, super bulky weight yarn. And I didn't quite know what to do with it. So what I decided, so it sat in my cupboard for, forever. But so what I decided to do with crochet was to crochet a blanket out of it. So I did start a blanket, and I am using this hook, which is an L. It's an 8mm crochet hook for this. And I did not say, I'm sorry, for the Granny Square Hexicardi. That one is crocheted on an H. So there you go. That's the 5mm. So for this, I'm just doing, and I'm still in the very beginning stages of learning crochet. But what I decided to do with this, and it comes on this thing, as you could tell here, like I'm gonna put it together somehow. It's not really fun, but anyway, it has this piece of plastic that sticks out of it, and you can pull it off the end. But it is very soft. And so I just decided to do a chevron blanket here. And this is all done in single crochet. And you do like decreases to do this dip, and then you do like increases to do the kind of the peak part of it, and just single crochets in between. So that is where I'm at with that, and that has been fun. I've been enjoying working on this here in the evening a little bit, and these colors are really pretty. So as you can tell, I just started this like it's kind of a mauve, and then I'll go to the lighter one, and then I will get the next one out and start that pink, or that like salmon-y color again. So that's what I've been working on with that, and that'll make a really pretty throw, or, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll give it away as a baby blanket, or if I ever have a granddaughter, maybe it'll be theirs, who knows. So there's that, and so that's been fun. I will have the pattern linked below. I got a pattern for it, but then I found a tutorial on how to do it, because I'm not super proficient in how to read the crochet as much, so the tutorial really helps. So I'll link the tutorial that I'm using for this below as well. And that's really all that I've been working on. I wanted to get that test knit done, so that was definitely something I was working on for that. And so that's it. That's all of the knitting crochet content. The rest of it is things that I have brought in, and then some therapy talk. So stuff that's come in. My niece, who I adore, she follows me on Instagram, and she noticed that I had reposted, which I do, you know, I try to repost dyers, you know, independent dyers and stuff, just to, you know, get the word out there for them. If I can't purchase something, I try to you know, help them along a little bit. So she noticed and fell in love with this yarn from Moonglow. And this is Moonglow Sock. And it is 160 grams. She also has a podcast, and I'll have it linked below. Really great podcast with her yarns. And she really has some beautiful colors. So it's 100 gram skein, and then 6 10-gram minis. So these are going to be some socks. I will have it below, and it is super soft. Let me tell you, this is for a 75-25, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's 463 yards. Super, super soft. I know that sometimes the 75-25s can be a little bit more little rougher, but this is super soft, really nice base. So these are going to be some socks. I'll put a picture up here of the socks that I'm going to be making out of this, and she really wanted me just to make something for myself, which I really appreciated, but I make a lot of things for myself. So I said, well, how about if I make us some socks? So I'm going to make her a full pair of socks, and then I will make a shorty set of the same pattern, so we'll be kind of matchy. So beautiful set, and I believe these are on pre-order if you want to head over to her website and check these out. Okay, I cut a little bit out. There was a plane going by, so I decided to cut a little bit out. Sorry about that. Fiber Nymph had a sale going on. It was part of her newsletter. So if you're not part of her newsletter, you might want to sign up, but she had a coupon code. So I decided to go on and make a purchase. I really love her yarn. So this is a Bounce mini set called River Rocks. And there you go. And this is a 80-20 merino nylon, 480 yards. The colors are deep purple, spruce, plain vanilla, deep mauve, graphite, and sand. So that's going to be a really pretty cowl at some point. I already have an idea for the cowl for this one, so I'll put a picture up here. That's going to be this cowl for this. That's what I have planned. The other thing I am going to, I purchased was, this is also on her bounce, the 80/20, and this is called Cake Pops Speckled Stripe with the mini. So this is an 80-yard mini, 20 grams in chocolate brown, and then this, and look at those speckles. Really, really pretty. So the way it works up is it has the brown, and then it'll have, you know, a certain section of the sprinkle color and then brown. So those will make some socks, I believe, at some point. These might be for my cousin that I made the other socks for. She got her socks in the mail and she really liked them, so this might be for her as well. So, and this is from Fiber Nymph. There's that. And then the last thing I purchased was this Rowan yarn. And like I said, I have 5 skeins of this in here. Plus I had that cardigan. So when I say that this bag right here is large, I'm not lying. So anyway, no, 4, 5, yeah, 5 skeins. So this is Rowan in the creative linen. It's 100 grams, and the color is teal. It's not very tealy to me. It's more of a green instead of a blue, so it doesn't look teal to me, but nonetheless, it's beautiful. Really like this. So this is made with linen and cotton, and it is a DK weight. And I got 5 of these from Webs, is where I bought this. And I bought it because I want to make this sweater called Summer in Sicily. I will have a picture up, and it's just a really pretty summer sweater. The neckline is really pretty. It comes down like this. And then the detail across it has really pretty eyelet sections. So that's the plan for this Rowan yarn here. And I only need 900 yards, but I bought a little extra just to be safe. Sorry, there's like a hair on it. So anyway, so with it being linen and cotton, it is not as soft as, you know, a merino or anything like that, but it's not very rough either. So I think it's going to be a nice summer weight. If you've ever been able to be in the south of the United States in the summer, it's warm, and not only is it warm, because it gets warmer on the western part of the country, like California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. It gets warmer there, but it's the humidity out here that'll get you. But with the humidity, you have this, so we deal, right? Anyway, so got these. That's going to be that, and I'm trying to not purchase unless I have an idea for it. So that is what's been going on over here. Like I said, I haven't spun to get a project off my cart, but I will be doing that soon. So that will probably be part of the next episode. But a little bit of therapy talk, just something that we live near a lake. There's a lake about a quarter mile down the road, and so we get a fair amount of traffic in the summertime. A lot of people like to park down the street and go to the lake. So anyway, as I was saying, so the therapy talk for today, the pattern that I have been coming across, I had the chance to speak to a younger gentleman caller twice this week, going through a lot of anxiety went off his medication, went on his medication, just having a lot of anxiety. And so one of the things that I really talk to not only him, but a lot of other people about is tracking your emotions. And there's a few different ways to do that. So one of the ways that I talk about is where in your body you feel your emotions. So do you get a headache? Do you get tight in the chest? Do you get flushed? Do you, some people end up with gastrointestinal issues, right? They'll end up with tummy trouble. They're not very hungry. They feel sick to their stomachs. They end up with other lower GI issues that I probably don't need to mention that you could think of. And a lot of that is because of our emotions and where we kind of hold them. So one of the things that I've talked about is, where do you feel your anxiety or your depression or your emotions, and what coping skills help, and what level are they at? So like, let's say you were to gauge your emotions from 0 to 100, okay? 0 being none, 100 being, I'm going to have a panic attack, though, really extreme symptoms. And somewhere in the middle of that is kind of your sweet spot. That's where you feel just your most calm, normal self. That is what we call your baseline. That's where you want to be at, right? And then, so what coping skills, sorry, there's a bug. What coping skills work best? Because not all of our coping skills are going to work great at 80, 90, and 100. But some of them, if you can try to keep them going, getting worse or progressing into that spot where things aren't as effective, and you can keep your management of those symptoms or those emotions lower, you're going to be in a better spot. So I always say to track which, what number you would put it at, what number, what coping skill worked best, what coping skill worked best at keeping it down. And some of the coping skills that I often talk about to people, sorry about Ginger barking there, are I talk about guided meditations. If you go onto YouTube and you look up guided meditations, you're going to come up with a ton of them. And they are really just deep breathing, visualization techniques to try to help you work through that. Progressive muscle relaxation, where you are tightening certain muscle groups, usually from your head to your feet or your feet to your head, for 10 to 15 seconds at a time, and then you are relaxing them and moving down to or up to the next set of muscles. That can often be very relaxing for people, and I have seen people kind of nod out in group falling asleep doing those. So that's a really good one. Aerobic exercise, working through that kind of itchy feeling that you get from anxiety, where it kind of feels like you want to kind of crawl out of your skin. Aerobic exercise is excellent for that one. Working through that cortisol and getting those, healthier hormones kind of going in your system and pumping is really good. So those are some of the ones that I talk about a lot. I talk a lot about journaling. I talk about, which I've talked about previous episodes, the worry journal. So those are some things that I frequently talk about, and keeping track of your emotions and what works better at what levels. Because I do talk to a lot of people, and they'll say things like, I'll say, oh, well, have you done square breathing? Have you done this? Have you done that? Well, that doesn't work for me. Okay, well, it probably does work for you, but you may not have been using it at a time when it was able to be its most effective. So I just wanted to throw that out there for another way. You know, maybe you can implement that in your life. Maybe you know somebody else that may be going through something and that may be helpful for them. So I just wanted to throw that out there in my beautiful tropical at this point backyard forest area, and throw that out there for you. And that's all I have for today. This is a shorter one, my usual length here, but I am so glad you're here. Please like, and if you could subscribe, it does really help to grow the channel and get this out there to more people. And if you can leave a comment, maybe you can leave like a tree comment or a little tree emoji at the end if you've made it this far. But I greatly appreciate anybody stopping by, and I hope you can give yourself the same grace that you would give everyone else. And I will have a little moment of Zen at the end. Take care. Bye-bye.